Good evening, everyone. This meeting is being held in accordance with the schedule of meetings adopted at the organizational meeting held January 6, 2020. Adequate notice of this regular special meeting of the Kenilworth Board of Education has been provided to the News Tribune, the Star Ledger, the local source. A copy has been filed with the Kenilworth Borough Clerk, posted with the board office, the Kenilworth Borough Hall, Brearley, and Harding Schools as provided by the Open Public Meetings Act. This meeting was originally scheduled for June 23rd, 2020. Due to adjustments to the Brearley commencement schedule, the meeting was moved to this evening, June 24th, 2020. Notice of that change was provided on June 16th, 2020. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and in consideration of the Executive Order number 107 issued by Governor Murphy, the Kenilworth Board of Education does hereby notify the public that to limit public gatherings and to mitigate any person-to-person exposure, this Kenilworth Board of Education meeting is being conducted using Zoom video conferencing. The public will be able to view via YouTube live stream for those interested in watching on their computers. The link will be available at 5:30 p.m. from the district's website, www.kenilworthschools.com, by clicking on the Kenilworth BOE YouTube channel under the BOE Board of Education tab. Public comment will be accepted only during the public comment period in the meeting via email at publiccomments@kenilworthschools.com. That's publiccomments@kenilworthschools.com, or by calling 908-931-9696, extension 2325. That's 908-931-9696, extension 2325. For the record, please include your name and address on all comment requests. Mr. David.
Okay, can everyone please rise to salute the flag? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Isn't that awesome?
Okay, can we have a roll call?
Biner.
Here.
Braun.
Here.
David.
Here.
Drogan.
Here.
Habather. Jankowicz.
Here.
Labate.
Here.
Benici.
Here.
Zimmerman.
Here.
We have quorum.
Okay, first up is our superintendent's report and presentations. Mr. Arlington.
Thank you. Tonight, I'd like to honor some of our top ranked seniors. I'm going to start with our valedictorian, Antonino Principato. Nino has made a name for himself at David Brearley High School for being both a talented athlete and a top scholar. Nino is a tri-season athlete and has been a member of the David Brearley football team, basketball team, and baseball team. He held the role of captain for all of these teams and earned 3 varsity letters. Outside of school, Nino holds a part-time job and is a 4-year member of the Linden Mayor's Youth Commission. Notably, Nino's ability to juggle athletics, work, and extracurricular activities while maintaining exceptional grades is truly commendable. Throughout his 4 years at David Brearley High School, Nino has taken 9 honors level courses and 10 advanced placement courses. He has received above a 4.0 GPA every single year of high school, and as such is a member of the National Honor Society. He's been honored with several awards and scholarships for both his academic and athletic achievements, some of which are on your screen. As a result of his hard work and dedication, Antonino has been named the valedictorian of the class of 2020. He'll be continuing his education at Rutgers University, New Brunswick, with a major in chemical engineering.
Great.
Our salutatorian is Jasmine Shaw. Jasmine approaches every aspect of her life with maturity and competence. It's clear from her actions and accomplishments that she has a strong value system, one that guides her through the choices in her life. Jasmine exemplifies the well-rounded young woman, a successful student, and an active participant in extracurricular activities. Here's more about Jasmine. As a senior, Jasmine is a co-editor-in-chief of the Bear Print, our school newspaper. Additionally, Jasmine has written for an NYU blog centered on equity and transforming schools. And she's currently serving as a student editor for Voices in Urban Education, an academic journal at NYU as well. Beyond that, her writing will also be included in Ali Michael's new book, The Guide for White Women Who Teach Black Girls. She serves on the executive board of the school's Race Matters Alliance. Formed 3 years ago, as you know, by several members, the group's aim is to open a space to speak about race. Jasmine, as an 8th grader at the time, was one of the few middle school students to participate and become a leading voice for the group. She produced a proposal which she presented to her school's administration, securing a commitment to establish an ethnic studies course beginning in the fall of 2020. For her success in securing approval to develop an ethnic studies course curriculum, Jasmine won the prestigious North Jersey Princeton Prize in Race Relations for 2019, becoming one of only 27 students in the country to receive that honor, as well as the only student to win an honorable mention, followed by the prize itself. Congratulations, Jasmine. Sophia Laspinosa earned a combined 7 varsity letters in soccer and basketball and garnered all county and all division recognition as the Briley Bears goalkeeper. She was a captain of the Briley School soccer team. In a UCT match, Sophia stopped a penalty kick and then connected on a penalty kick for the game-winning goal, a nail-biting moment. Sophia is a National Honor Society peer tutor with a 3.9 GPA. She was a member of Run for Fun, which helps elementary students learn physical fitness. Sophia, as you can see, will continue her soccer career and education at Quinnipiac University in Connecticut, a member of the MAAC. We look forward to celebrating these 3 top students in our in-person graduation ceremonies scheduled for 8th grade on July 22nd and 12th grade on July 23rd. We've already sent level 1 information about the details of that day, and on July 6th, we'll be sending more details that we're still hashing out. Until then, to kind of hold you over, our virtual graduation ceremonies are available on our school website. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Dr. Lott and our graduation coordinator, Ms. Marissa Foch, who both did an outstanding job. So thank you. This concludes my report.
That's it, Cal? Okay. Well, on behalf of the board, I would like to congratulate Nino, Jasmine, and Sophia on their outstanding accomplishments. Quite remarkable, and wish them all the best as they go into college. Report of committees is our next item, starting with finance. Mr. Ladati.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Thank. Hello, everyone. There are 10 resolutions tonight. I don't have a report because we're kind of like at a mid between meetings. There are 10 resolutions. Most are annual that we have to approve at this time each year. Several of them have to do as we act as conduit for the non-public school. The only one that may need explanation, Vince, if you wouldn't mind, is number 1. To give a quick little synopsis of that, I appreciate it.
Yes, as you know, annually, the board has the opportunity to transfer any excess funds that may have accumulated for various reasons. It could be under expenditures in specific counts, so additional revenue that we did not anticipate during the budget process that took place more than 18 months ago. So the board has an opportunity to move those into various reserve accounts. By doing so, that will prevent us from going into a excess surplus situation in the next school year, which, as we recall, is a situation where we do not want to be put in, where we're forced to appropriate funds from free balance without having control over how much we appropriate from free balance. That in subsequent years can have very damaging effects on our ability to maintain a level tax levy. So by doing so, we move money into the various reserves, such as our capital reserve, our maintenance reserve, or emergency reserve. So your monies for your maintenance reserve would be things that we would do, for example, if we needed to repair a parking lot or a piece of a roof or something like that, we could use maintenance reserve, where in this particular summer, we appropriate money to renovate some bathrooms over at Harding. Next year, we anticipate appropriating some money to deal with some of the facade work at Harding School, the lintel work, and the masonry work. So that gives us an ability to manage our budget, our tax levy, and get important projects to maintain our facilities in the standards that the Kenilworth people expect of our facilities. Capital reserve is another reserve that you could put money aside for, which would be for capital projects. Similar to maintenance projects, but they typically are larger in scope. So it might be a full roof replacement or window replacement, or something that we've been talking about is creating a partial middle school or an addition on for middle school, or some renovation over at the Harding School for early childhood education. That's where you could use some capital reserve money. The third one is emergency reserve. Emergency reserve it can be used for security related items. Now I think they've extended to even use it for COVID related items. So that's going to be an important one possibly coming up this year, depending on how the state aid plays out. If we lose some state aid and more than what we anticipate or have been projected to lose, we might need to fall back on some of those reserves, such as the emergency reserve, to get us through the rough patch of the loss of potential revenue from state aid. So hopefully that gives a good explanation of resolution number 1 on this evening's agenda.
Thank you, Vince. So that being said, unless there were some more questions, I'm going to recommend that we move those motions to be voted on and approved later on. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ladati. Does anyone have any questions on any of the finance resolutions? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to personnel and management. Mr. Haberther, who is not able to join us, I think. Still not there, right, Vince?
Correct. He's not.
Okay.
No.
All right. I don't know if anyone has anything to report on behalf of personnel. I guess the one thing maybe to mention is we obviously have received the resignation of our grammar school principal, Mrs. Murphy, and that's going to be effective September 1st, 2020. So that's obviously a big item. And we wish Mrs. Murphy the very best in whatever the future holds for her. And just glancing through here, I think that's pretty much the one highlight or low light, I guess, depending on your point of view. So we will move on to, do we have anything?
Yeah, the stipend, like for the football coach, like, or if football season doesn't occur, do we still have to pay that full stipend, or for any of the fall issue sports or activity, or do we pay half? Does anybody know anything about that yet, or do we get any guidance?
Yes, we did get guidance in the original decree that came out from the governor, that all contracts and collective bargaining agreement items that were approved need to be paid. And that is why we are only proceeding at this point with the head coaches. So each one of these positions, the football coach, there's 5 assistants, the soccer coaches, I think there's 4 assistants, cheerleading, there are just those 2. We're not proceeding at this point, because if we were to proceed at this point and we did go fully virtual, then we would be obligated to pay.
Yeah, I thought Vince. I'm sorry. I thought maybe there was something that changed that we don't have to pay the full thing if they're not going to have, you know.
No, in fact, you know, starting in July, they can start practicing. So,
Right.
you know, we expect to have maybe something on the July 20th agenda
Okay.
that will allow the teams to start practicing.
Okay. Thank you.
And Greg, I had a
Oh,
question.
go ahead, Nance. Sorry.
That's all right. Regarding resolution 14 and the head coaches, the question I would have is Mr. Miller still serving as our athletic director for the district?
Yes.
That hasn't changed, right?
No.
Okay. And I would need to somehow be voting separately on his name from the other coaches. This has been an ongoing for years, and we keep putting it off and saying next year. And last year I abstained from the entire group as a result because that was said to me. And someone made a comment afterwards about what was my issue with whatever. And I want to vote on him separately.
Okay, we'll
to
break
agree.
that one out.
Okay, and I have to agree with Nancy. We really felt that you shouldn't have those two positions.
Folks, I have to caution you, that would be a personnel matter, so we need to
Okay.
be careful what we talk about. I don't have a problem with it, but it is,
I just want to vote on him separately.
yes, that's good. Thank you.
Okay, so we have that, Vince. And anything else for personnel? Okay, I don't see any resolutions for either curriculum or policy. So I don't know if Mrs. Zimmerman, if you had anything that you wanted to bring up under curriculum.
Well, we have, as you said, nothing under the agenda for resolutions or anything of that nature. I'm not quite certain exactly as we're going forward into the summer, what involvement the curriculum committee is going to have with Mr. Arlington and our staff in terms of dealing with the potentials of how our opening for the district may look in September. I would imagine that there'll be a curriculum committee meeting somehow tied into that as we're dealing with the different possible structures for it and trying to address maybe some of the concerns that have come up or will come up through the survey that Mr. Arlington has put out that parents had regarding student accountability, etc. So that would be forthcoming.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that. Mrs. Braun, did you have anything under policy you wanted to mention? If not,
no, I don't have anything.
okay, great. Let's move on to old business. Does anyone have anything under old business then? Okay, or nothing. We'll move on to new business. Does anyone have anything under new business?
Under new business, referencing that survey that I just mentioned, Mr. Arlington, I did have contact with a few parents since that has started, and I have told them all to express the same concerns they expressed to me through the survey. One thing I did want to mention just directly that came up, that some parents felt that the survey was leaning one way rather than the other. They thought it was more geared just to the idea of these are the only possibilities of what's going to happen. There are some parents who were expressing there was no real question that related to my child has worn a mask but has problems doing so, or my child, if they have to wear masks, will not be in the school. I will homeschool them, something along those lines, or a number of different things. I did tell them to put it into the survey, and I also asked about them sharing the information that they had sent to me. So I will forward that also to Mr. Arlington and to you, Greg, as president, to look at and see what the parents' comments were. But there's a lot of back and forth, and you know, we're all in that boat. Nobody knows for sure what's going on come September, teachers and parents and students alike. but they felt that the survey was too pigeonholed and didn't feel that it gave enough room for an open dialogue. So that may be something we have to address going forward as well. I don't know.
Sure. So, Mr. David, may I comment on the surveys?
Sure, go ahead.
So because we're in these unique times, I know people have reached out to me saying they have survey fatigue, but it's a way of really just making sure lots of stakeholders' voices are included. So right now, there are actually, for parents, 4 surveys. I'm going to just resend them in the Friday folder. One's for distance learning, right? Like a reflection of their experiences from the parent point of view. One is for students with the same bend. Then there's the survey that Ms. Zimmerman's discussing, we're calling like preparing for fall 2020.
Right.
And then there's a survey for principal input. I realize it's a lot of surveys, but there's no other way to kind of get information. Yeah, so I don't push back on that comment, except to say that any survey, I guess, right, could be slanted one way or the other. I kind of based that survey I'm responsible for creating myself by kind of looking at some other surveys that were out there. But indeed, any parent that feels they have additional information that doesn't fit into one of the boxes could certainly put it in that kind of catch-all paragraph at the end, or of course they can email me. My hope with that particular survey is that when the guidance comes out, allegedly this week, right, we can say what's feasible based on what's on the hearts and minds of parents, and kind of hold it up against the CDC or NJ DOE guidance. So I imagine that will be one of many surveys this summer. But if there are parents who feel they have additional input to give at this point, please email me or include it at the bottom. Or if it's coming through board members, of course, share that with me and I'll take it seriously.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Arlington. Anyone else have any new business?
I just had a quick follow-up question. Maybe this was out there, but do we have a firm start date for the new high school principal?
We're working through that, but we believe sometime mid-July.
Okay.
Anyone else? All right, well, I'm just going to make one comment. I did have a chance to watch the virtual graduation last night. So I want to congratulate all of our graduates for a job well done, as well as thank everyone who had a hand in putting that together. Again, I thought it was really well done, and I enjoyed watching it. And obviously, it gave everyone a chance to see our graduates, you know, at a time where, you know, we've all been boxed in our homes for quite some time. So again, thank you and congratulations to all. Next item is to open the meeting to the public for comment. Do I have a motion to open the meeting?
Open the meeting.
Okay, I have a motion from Mrs. Drogan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a second from Mr. Jankowicz. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? So carried. Okay, our meeting is, or Vince, you gonna read it or do you want?
Yes, I'll take care of it. Public comment will now be accepted. Members of the public wishing to comment, making a comment can do so by either emailing the board at publiccomments@kenilworthschools.com or by calling the Board of Education conference room at 908-931-9696, extension 2325. Be aware there is a delay between real time and the video, so we will allow public the opportunity to respond. So we'll give it about a minute and then we'll proceed. Think we're good, Joe? I think we're good, right? Okay, I think we're good. So there are no emails in the queue, and the phone hasn't rung. So I guess we can proceed, Mr. David.
Okay, so can I have a motion to close the public portion of the meeting?
Motion.
Is that a motion by Mr. Biner?
Yeah.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion made by Mr. Biner, second by Ms. Strogan. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, the public portion of the meeting is closed, and we can move on to roll call of resolutions. So, Mr. Ganello, you have that one to pull out?
Yes.
And
Yes.
separate. I guess you have to actually separate it, right?
Yes. So first, we'll start with the finance resolutions 1 through 10. Mr. Ladati, would you like to make that motion?
I make a motion that resolutions 1 to 10 be moved for approval.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Motions was made by Mr. Ladati, seconded by Mrs. Drogan. Roll call. This is for resolutions number 1 through 10 on the agenda. Biner,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Drogan,
Yes.
Jankowicz,
Yes.
Ladati. Anthony, yes?
Speaker's not on.
Yes. I thought I hit it too quick. Sorry. Thank you. Yes.
No problem. Panici,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Motion's carry unanimously. Okay, this is for resolutions number 11 through 17 on the agenda, excluding number 14, which will be voted on separately. Mr. Haberther is not here this evening to make that motion. So would another member of the Personnel Committee like to make that motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Mrs. Brogan, is there a second?
A second.
Mr. Biner? Okay, motion was made by Mrs. Drogan, seconded by Mr. Biner. This is for resolutions numbers 11 through 17 on the agenda, excluding number 14. Biner,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Drogan,
Abstain.
abstain. Okay. Jankowicz,
Yes.
Ladati,
Yes.
Zanichi,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Okay, motion's carry, 701. This is for resolution number 14 on the agenda. Is there a motion to make is there a motion for number 14?
Well, number 14, in what capacity? The names separated?
Are we separating them? That's what you wanted?
Yeah,
to
Mr. Ganello, I thought you had understood that,
No, sorry.
right.
Okay.
The head coach position needs to be removed and voted on in a separate resolution.
Okay, so we will do a 14A and a 14B.
That'll
Okay.
work.
And 14A will be with everyone but Mr. Miller, I guess? Is that what you're saying, Mrs. Zimmerman, right?
I want to vote on the head football coach position separately from the other
Correct.
positions.
Okay. Okay, so 14A is for the head football coaches on resolution number 14, excluding the head football coach. Okay, Biner,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Drogan,
Abstain.
I'm sorry, Jankowicz,
Yes.
Ladati,
Yes.
Panici,
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Soccer and cheerleading coaches, right?
It's everyone but Miller, yes.
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Okay, motion's carry. And this is for the resolution hiring the head football coach. Biner,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Drogan,
No.
Jankowicz,
Yes.
Ladati.
Yeah.
Panici,
Yes.
Zimmerman.
No.
David,
Yes.
motion carries. 6-2. Okay.
Okay, so that brings us to executive session. And
Yes.
we do have the need to go into executive session, so I'll turn it back to you, Mr. Gano.
Yes, be it resolved that the Board of Education, meet in private session, which the public shall be excluded to discuss the topic of personnel, which include the chief school administrator annual evaluation and merit goals. Private discussion is being held pursuant to section 7B and 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act. The matters under discussion will be disclosed to the public as soon as final decisions are made and voted upon. The Board of Education will be going into executive session at this time. The board does plan on returning and taking action this evening. So we will be moving to a separate room, and the YouTube portion of the meeting will continue to run, but it will not be. We will not be on that live stream. So we expect to be in closed session for approximately a half hour, no more, but we will be returning. So is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Go ahead.
Mrs. Drogan, is there a second?
Second.
Mrs. Zimmerman? Okay. All in favor of going to closed session?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Ayes have it. We are now in closed session. The YouTube live feed will be we'll be putting you into a breakout room at this point. Thank you.
So we gotta hit join.
Watch it happen. Here we go. We are live right now because I just heard myself watch it happen.
Your speaker's not on. Vince. I mean,
Thank you, Paulette. Do you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right.
Okay, we are back in open session. The board does have one matter to vote on. Mr. Ganella, that's resolution number 18, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Is there a motion to, for resolution number 18?
So moved.
thank you for that.
Was that Mark? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Jankowicz,
I'll
Was there a
second.
Second.
and a second by
Minor.
Mr. Minor.
Okay.
Roll call.
Biner,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Drogan,
yes,
Jankowicz,
Yes.
Ladati,
Yes.
Panici,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes,
David.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, excellent. And our last order of business is I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
All right.
Vince,
Anyone opposed?
question before you kick me out.
Anyone opposed?
Paulette's got a question.
Vince,
Okay, so you're going to hang on after the meeting. So we have all in favor. So the meeting is adjourned officially.
Thank you.
bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Enjoy the summer.
Thank you.
See you, everyone.